So hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the latest video. It's just going to be a very quick one, and it's really just following up on the initial kind of quick look review, first impressions that was uploaded on the channel around about a week ago. So this is a 2019 Specialized Allez Elite. If you want to kind of have a more detailed look at the components, the finishing kit, then I will post a link to the original video somewhere around about now. Purpose of this video though is really just a follow-up on that, as I've said, and it's really looking specifically at the fitting of the mudguards. Actually, before picking this bike up, they being the bike shop, did attempt to actually try and fit some mudguards to it. The rear, not a problem, and I'll talk you through that in a second. Home mechanics will have absolutely no issue. I managed to do that within probably half an hour. And that was taking things very slow and being very cautious because I've never actually fitted anything before. The front though is a little bit different. I'm going to try and give you kind of the best pictures as possible. Eagle-eyed viewers, let's just zoom in on this. Apologies because I'm naturally not long back from a ride. So you'll see there is actually this gap here in the mudguard. I'll move my finger in a second, but the mudguard kind of ends actually just here, just before the fork. As you'll see, you've got kind of this broad plastic piece just there. There is then no mudguard underneath the fork, underneath the brake, and then you'll see this little metal bracket here. So because of clearance issues, in fact there's two issues, and I'll move the camera around in just a second. There's two issues though. One is clearance actually here under the fork and then under the brake. So you can get a full mudguard in, but these are 25mm tyres. Is the original stock 25mm tyres, and it's just too tight to actually get that in. So you can get a full mudguard in, provided you're prepared to switch out from 25mm tyres to 23, and I'm not prepared to do that. So this was the solution that I've come up with. Basically it was a bridge. These are SKS race blade longs. For anybody who saw my 2016 Allez winter bike setup video, that was probably about a year ago, maybe even perhaps 15-16 months ago. I went into a little more detail on those mudguards in that video. So that's the solution. What I will actually do as well, zoom back out, I'm doing this on the fly here, is so part of the fitting with these is they actually sit on the skewer, if you guys can see that. And it's a pretty nice solution. They're pretty rigid, but as you can see just above, I've actually got the mudguard eyelets. So what I'm going to do, try and get in a little bit further. Yeah, I've actually got the mudguard eyelets just here, and this is where they're currently sitting on the skewer. Now this works well, it's very sturdy. The challenge being though is if you need to transport the bike and it means taking the front wheel out, or if you get a puncture, you have to take the front wheel out, then all of a sudden this that's very rigid at the moment then becomes basically just a floppy mudguard held on essentially by the brackets, the two brackets here at the brake bridge. So I am going to modify this somehow, and I will do a follow-up as well, but I'm going to modify this somehow so that it sits on the eyelets, because then that's 100% problem solved. So there's the issue with the front, but that is the solution, or two solutions I should say. You can either switch to 23mm tyres, full mudguards, then no issue at all, or you can use a bridge. Now I already obviously had these mudguards, these SKS race blade longs, so it wasn't really a problem. I did actually look at chopping the chromoplastic down though, and actually building a bridge into it. So there is another solution. And actually the bridge that is fitted to the chromoplastics, so there's like on the full mudguard, let's just use this illustration, there is actually a bridge, a little metal bridge that sticks up. I did actually remove that and put one of these bridge brackets in, so essentially I got kind of this horizontal bracket so that then I could basically pull it up a little bit higher. But the problem is, if you can see in there, is there's so much material around here that it's just so tight. Hopefully that's coming across, but you can see this gap is extremely tight with a 25mm tyre. So that's the solution for the front. Okay, so moving around to the rear, this one's far more straightforward. completely standard rear SKS chromoplastic, so a little bit dark in there, but basically there is a retaining screw just down here right at the bottom of the seat post. Keep things nice and steady in there, as you can see. Having said that, during the first 45-mile ride that did work its way loose, and as a consequence the bolt won't actually come all the way out because the tyre's there, so I probably did a couple of miles at least, with kind of 100% resistance because the bolt was running right up against the tyre, but not really an issue. Whip the rear wheel out, tighten that back up, and kind of the 20 miles back home that stayed nice and sturdy. You see there's the brake bridge in here, or the bracket that sits on the brake, so that's pulled all the way up just for clearance, but I have managed to get quite a tight fit to the tyre. Again, pretty sturdy, not too bad actually as far as mudguards go. And then otherwise it's just a case of attaching it straight to the eyelet. So this one, very easy. The only thing you have to do is actually cut these down. They were probably somewhere up here, but just junior hacksaw, probably get them halfway through, and then just twist them off with a pair of mole grips, and then you can get the top caps on here just so there's no kind of sharp edges. Very simple, very easy to do. It was about, as I said, half an hour, and I'm by no means a kind of top mechanic. This one was very tight, so I just need to file the edge down just so I can pull that so that it sits same as that one, but simple enough to do. One thing which is actually about the chromoplastics as opposed to fitting them to the specialised Allez is this is actually quite short. So I did have a guy out with me yesterday, and I asked him a couple of times just how it was in terms of road spray. I was sitting behind him a couple of times. He doesn't have any rear mudguard on, and it was a little bit of surface water, nothing too heavy, but even with a few spots there was a couple of occasions where I kind of got some salty spray in the mouth. Not a euphemism. So I think I'm going to actually remove the spoiler that's on one of the other mudguards and attach it onto here, just so we kind of get a finish somewhere down here, because there was still a couple of occasions where he actually got a little bit of spray, especially if it was puddles and such like. So otherwise that's it, mudguards on, 45 mile ride done. Pretty enjoyable. Did notice the weight though, I've got to be honest, and it's also the first time that I've been on the road for that kind of distance, or 100% of the road for a little while. So going from that kind of off-road terrain where you probably don't realise that you do get a little bit of respite and kind of coasting, or I guess just the feel of things is a little bit different. So doing kind of 2.25 hours constant pedalling. The route we did yesterday was 100% flat as well, so there wasn't any kind of downhills to take a little bit of a rest. So well, I'm road ready, I'm winter ready. It's now just going to be time to kind of get out, get pedaling, and yeah, tune myself up again. When I do actually get round to doing the follow-up of the front mudguard, as you can see there from the chain state onto the eyelets, we'll do a follow-up. I think that's going to be a fairly easy fix. Otherwise, any comments, questions, drop them in the section below. Big thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.